May 2nd, 2023, and I'm sitting around the house not doing anything. Figured, what the heck, I might as well strike out and start my fishing now. I mean, the leaves are almost ready, so the trout should be biting in this area. I'm going to go in around Molasses Pond, areas that I used to run in when probably last I was in high school. There's a place there that I used to fish. I don't even know what the name of it is anymore. I think I might remember how to get to it. I think it's the outlet of what's called Narragansett Lake, but I'm not 100% sure about that, so I guess I'll strike that way. And if it looks familiar, then I'll know that I'm in the right place. So coming down Maycomber Mill Road, and it's quite obvious that we've had a lot of rain. I figured that was going to be the case. Water's very high. Coming upon a spot over here that I used to fish a lot when I was a kid. Never really caught anything here, honestly, but the water is really, really high, and I'm wondering if it's worth just stopping, throwing a line in, seeing if there's anything here. Chances are there's not going to be anything here, so I think I'll just move up and park a little bit down the lane and give this a shot. I mean, it looks pretty, but there just seems to be so much water coming through. I can't imagine that's going to be anything here. So I'm going to go off across here. Water's coming across the road. This is not a big deal at all. This road actually is really great in comparison to what it was like when we were growing up down here. Almost couldn't pass that. So I think I'll pull over here shortly and just walk up real quick, throw a couple things in, and see what happens. I don't anticipate anything, but hey, what the heck, right? All right, so just about ready to go over there and throw something in. Thought it'd be interesting if I showed off what my extensive tackle looked like when it came time to fish with crawlers or worms. I take it very seriously, and I invest a great amount of money into the the various types of tackle in order to be able to attract the trout to my line. So just for educational purposes, let's say, let me show you the extensive amount of stuff that you have to have in order to catch a brook trout here in the state of Maine. This is my tackle box. Pretty much call that good. Basically, we've just got hooks with swivels, your Eagle Claw size 4, size 6 hooks. You've got your split shots, you've got your swivels just because it's easier to put stuff on when you hang them up on the bottom. And I do have some lures. I have an extensive amount of lures. I've got daredevils of various sizes, and I've got phoebes. Gold phoebes and green and silver phoebes seem to work pretty well for me. And that's basically it. Of course, you've got your crawlers, and this is basically your setup as far as how you're going to fish for a brook trout here in Maine if you're using crawlers. I have never needed anything else, honestly. I kind of get a kick out of going fishing with some of my friends, years ago, and they had these great big tackle boxes. And they'd spend, hours picking and choosing what they were going to fish with. And, I would just have this. And usually did it just as well as they did as far as, catching the fish. So, well, let's head on over and throw a couple crawlers in and see what happens over there. All right, heading on over. It's a little bit cool out here today. And as you can see, the leaves haven't quite budded up yet, so they say that the best time to go trout fishing is when the leaves are the size of a mouse's ear. Yeah, that's always worked pretty well for me. Now, like I said, I've stopped here multiple times over the course of my life, and I've never caught a fish here as far as I can remember. You know, it looks like it would be trouty, but it really never panned out. Or either that, I just didn't have the patience when I was a kid. But let's give it a shot and see what happens. Alright, back in the truck, headed on down the line. Well, it was as I anticipated in that particular spot. If I can say one thing for that little area right there, it's pretty consistent in not providing any fish. In fact, maybe I've never even had a bite there, but I mean, my memory's good, but maybe not that good. So why do I stop there? Because it's easy. I can throw some lines in the water and it gets me outside, right? Right. So this is kind of fun. Obviously, you know, I haven't, you know, you don't know, but trust me, I haven't been in here for a long time. So I turned off on what I thought was the road that goes down to Spring River, and it looked familiar. It really did. And as I'm going by, you know, I'm cross-referenced to my DeLorme and doing it the old-fashioned way. And all of a sudden, I cross a you know, an area where the road gets kind of built up a little bit, and that old road becomes this. So I mean, I guess that's good. I'm assuming I'm still on the right path. If that's the case, boy, they made it nice and easy to get down in here. I assume they just followed the old road and just kind of built it up, but in about 1 or 2 miles, I guess we're gonna find out. Stay tuned. So, just got back in the truck. I mean, no emergencies. I'm coming down through these blueberry barrens here, and they're beautiful, by the way. Of course, we've got quite some time before, you know, they'll start producing berries and whatnot. But lo and behold, in the middle of the road is an old Ford pickup truck. You know, and I'm like, oh, I can't get around this guy. So I come up and I do drive a little around. Unfortunately, I had to go a little bit into the blueberry fields. I feel terrible about that, obviously. And I look in, and there's this old man sitting in the driver's seat with his eyes closed. So I'm like, well, you know, he's either sleeping or, you know, he's what we call 1048, which is dead. And so I get out just to check on him a little bit, and it's Mr. Jordan himself. And Mr. Jordan is an old timer from Eastbrook, and basically all of these blueberry fields are his. You know, and he's been you know, kind of a fixture in this Waltham Eastbrook community forever and ever. So he's in here. He's got to be in his 90s. Gotta be. And he's just picking up rocks off the side of the road, you know, little bigger rocks that got, you know, thrown into you know, off into his blueberry fields for the sole reason that he doesn't want his blueberry rakes to pick up these rocks. So imagine my surprise in here in the middle of nowhere, and you find the guy that owns the whole darn place. Pretty interesting. So I sat and, you know, chatted with him for must have been a half hour. You know, he was telling me stories and I was telling him stories, and we were talking about my dad, and, you know, he was talking about the Hamiltons and Bobby Hamilton and truck driving and how he used to get in here and loading everything by hand. And, you know, he's 92, so he was taking a break because his back hurt because he's been picking up rocks all day long out here in the middle of the woods, with just a radio so that he could communicate with his wife Patsy back at home. You can't beat the old timers, that's for sure. Well, I do have to say it's certainly a good thing that I came in behind Mr. Jordan, and he set me on the straight and narrow to make sure I was, you know, in the right direction, and told me that I was headed towards the brook, because I definitely wouldn't have recognized this area down here as the old road to get down. He tells me that I don't know, 6 years ago they came in here and they took down this dam that was in here. So the place is a little torn up a little bit. We'll walk down in. I don't think you can drive down in through there anymore. But we'll walk down in for a while and get to the stream and see what it looks like here shortly. Should be interesting. Alright, getting down in here. I can hear the brook, so it must be pretty close. Looks like it might be right there, as a matter of fact. My goodness gracious. It has been a long time since I've been down in here. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Look at the amount of water coming down through here. Goodness gracious. Boy. Looks good though. Oof. Now hopefully I've gone beyond my tradition of being klutzy and falling into the water this time of year, because I got too adventurous. We're gonna give it a shot and see what we can come up with. Ugh. You know, it's not warm out here. It's definitely not prepared. I'm gonna go up a little bit. No. So we're down here at Spring River. It's not really even a river, it's mostly a brook. Although, as you can tell, we've had so much rain that, yeah, it's starting to be a river. It's really kind of interesting. You know, there's a lot of memories that are coming back from the last time I was down here. I wouldn't say that this area is incredibly significant for me, but it was one of the spots that I used to come to fairly regularly, I guess, when I was younger. As a matter of fact, you know, it's close enough to home that when I'd get out of school, I could hop in the vehicle and head on down and come to fish. Some of the significant things that I remember about this spot, and certainly not going to be the same for everybody, but I discovered that I don't care for bean boots here. Part of the reason why is because they just didn't offer me a lot of good traction. You know, that chain pattern on the bottom just wasn't for me. And I had a really nice buck knife that I bought when I was a kid at Shepherd's Hardware, which is Rooster Brothers downtown Ellsworth now. And I lost that here. And the other thing that really sticks out in my memory about this spot is coming around this bend in this stream. You can kind of see it in the background. See that banking in the back? I'll focus in on that as opposed to me. I guess there's a zoom mode on these GoPros, but you could fool me. Coming in here, it makes me realize that, you know, I'm unarmed. I normally have, you know, a sidearm with me when I come into the woods, but I just wasn't ready. I don't have any ammunition for, well, I have ammunition for, but I can't find my magazine for it, is really what the story is. But right against that bank right there, when I was probably, oh, I don't know, 15, 16, came upon a black bear, just a young black bear. And that time I wasn't armed either. Well, the black bear saw me just after I saw it, and for a second there I wasn't sure if he was coming my way or going the opposite way. Fortunately for me, he decided to go the opposite direction and ran off. And what did I do as opposed to you know, run? No, I continued fishing. You know, I figured, hey, yeah, we can share the woods. He'll wait for me downstream if he wants to have a go. Well, that was a pleasant surprise. I didn't anticipate that I was gonna, you know, actually catch any trout this trip. This is more of an exploratory, you know, I was sitting around the house not doing anything. Let's go find a spot. And lo and behold, I found a spot, threw some lines in the water. It really didn't take very long, and came up with the first of what I hope is many brook trout this year. We're gonna try to get out a lot, get to different places. So Spring River didn't skunk me. Let's continue fishing. I mean, I don't have very much SD card. I guess that's what they call those left. So the rest is just gonna be mine, my adventure alone. We'll see what happens next time when I buy another SD card. I'll probably get a bigger one next time. Anyways, talk to you soon.